They're better than Samsung Galaxy, we found out earlier today.
Oh, dear.
Secret was most known for his Alistair play when he was on Spenu Sonic Boom, a name that we will no longer talk about because they became Spenu Korea and then they became defunct. So
they went boom.
They did go boom. The story of Spenu is an amusing one, given that their owner did a Sonic and ran. Well, his name was actually Sonic also, which adds to the illusion.
He bailed out real hard.
But that's not a name we have to talk about anymore. Goodbye, Spenu Sonic Boom. Hello, Kongdoo Monster Secret.
So much better.
Would you like to know my Kongdoo Monster Secret?
I don't know if I do.
I'm not sure if I'm willing to share it with you, Achilles.
All right. If it's not broadcast appropriate, then I don't think I want to see it ever.
Does a Kongdoo Monster Secret sound broadcast appropriate?
No, it doesn't.
Well,
all right. So this is going in somewhat familiar territory here.
First pick LeBlanc is available. This time, ROX Tigers aren't going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, not too surprising that it doesn't get through. So we'll see where they want to go, and it's going to be the Jace. So whether or not that's for Edge or Roach, we'll have to wait and find out. But this does open up Mighty Bear to take the Graves yet again.
Looked good on it in Game 2. Again, the scoreline wasn't necessarily MVP worthy, but the 1-0-3 from Shy got an MVP. So scorelines weren't everything in Game 1. Very low kill game on both sides as they got rotated to hell. Let's see what Tigers want to do, because we still haven't seen pick comp Tigers. That's my favorite, when they run the pick comp, when Ari is locked in for Mickey. His style unfolds, and that's possible for ROX Tigers in this game.
Yeah, I could see that come in maybe as the last pick, but for now, Graves will start us off for Mighty Bear. So we'll see if he can have as strong of a performance as we saw in that game number 2 right there, because Elise wasn't really doing it for me or for the ROX Tigers in Game 1.
And you know what? Cogmore wasn't doing for me on the side of Kongdoo Monster, so maybe an attack damage carry would be nice in this case. A marksman, if you will, in this round. And this one.
Okay, Ezreal back in for Soul, so this was really instrumental in Kongdoo's win.
So I have to imagine this is going to be a pick comp because they didn't pick up the Ezreal that so far is 2-0 in this series. It was available to ROX Tigers. We've seen SKT, for example, prioritize it way higher than something like the Jhin. But if you're going to take the Jhin in the first round, I will guess that we are going to see some assassins. But I keep talking about making an assassin. He keeps locking in wave clear, so what do I know?
Evidently not much.
Uh-oh.
Lulu, speaking of wave clear coming through yet again. So much priority on
That's the one thing
Lulu.
she doesn't really have anymore. Wave clear's not her big story. Just the damage fall off on her Q. It's not maxed anymore, so
it helps a bit.
Sure, she's got ranged auto attacks that are a bit beefed up with the picks, so it's not exactly bad wave clear, but it's not the old Lulu special. Thresh banned away. That's the only champion Secret has played so far this season.
Oh no!
His champion pool is
doomed!
gone. Well, I mean, he is undefeated on Kongdoo Monster on Thresh, Achilles. Hey, when you have stats with teams that don't have many wins, you have to really celebrate the ones you have. How did they know? How did they know to ban the Thresh?
They must have been studying our scrims. Somebody leaked our results.
I don't think leaking the Kongdoo Monster results would surprise anyone, Achilles. Oh, they lost another scrim block. Weird.
Oh dear. Well, they're really going to try to pinch down under the support pool here for Secret, so Karma taken away as well. He's got a smile on his face.
He's like, I'm going to Alistair.
They'll never see this coming.
It's not really a good pick here, but I can play it. I don't know why he has a weird accent.
You can't milk those.
Well, it's a double. That's such a top lane and a mid lane ban on the side of Kongdoo. They don't want to deal with the on-hit cannon anymore.
What a surprise.
So what we see ROX just pick a mid laner. Will the Corki come out that ROX love to lock in, even if Mickey loses on a lot? And oh, baby, look at that summoner spell in the mid lane. That's a good sign. I think it might be Ari.
Does have the Ignite, so could see it come through. I mean, Kongdoo Monster have to have this in mind. We don't know if the Jace is going to mid or top yet.
It's probably going to mid, although we were surprised to see a top lane Jace from Shy in Game 1. Support and ostensibly top lane.
How's the Jace into Nautilus matchup?
Oh, you know, he does a lot of damage, and Nautilus takes a lot of damage, but not really much else to talk about.
Fair enough. Well, so far, Nami coming in. Looks like we might just have
Is
that.
that what I think it is?
That's a Malphite.
I had to look closely. We haven't seen That icon on our screens in a while. I heard Dongjun on the Korean cast being like, what?
What?
Now, Kled would be fun. Gimgoon over on Game Talents has been loving the Kled in many matchups, but denied from us. We will just have Shen versus Nautilus.
Hooray!
It's a good choice against what is probably going to be a pick comp from ROX Tigers with their prioritization. And hello, this is what I want to see.
A shining light in the darkness comes through in the form of Ari for Mickey if he locks this in.
It might change his ways with the Shen pick. Does kind of thwart some of the single target assassination, but I'd love to see the Ari anyway. They went this far, they took the Jhin over the Ezreal, so pick comp was likely, and Mickey is undefeated on Ari in 2017, 3-0 on that pick.
So you can add another one to the record, make it a 4. Or if Kongdoo will just shut down those dreams, the Shen, as mentioned, definitely could do that with Stand United. But, I mean, you know, pick comp coming through from the ROX Tigers, but there are pick tools for Kongdoo, what with the bubble, as well as the cocoon there. So if they can bushwhack somebody walking into the jungle, get a pick, that could definitely result in some objectives for Kongdoo.
I completely agree. There are, as you say, still plenty of initiation options on the side of Kongdoo Monster. But ROX are on comfort. For some reason, they started this series off gimmicky with the Ziggs, Jace, Ryze comp, which I said with about as much disdain as I could. And now we're going to shy on a tank, so we're back to normal. The Cannon band away. He had no more split pushes, so he asked for permission for the Jax, got denied, so had to go for the Nautilus. And it's cool to see the Ari back from Mickey. It's a good matchup into the Jace. It's actually a fun matchup because a lot of skills you have to be held onto. For example, you don't really use the To the Skies until you see Charm down, otherwise you just get charmed at point-blank range.
Yeah.
So a lot of windows of power on both sides should be fun, and of course the jungles are impact mid, and then we have Secret, undefeated on Kongdoo Monster in a sample size of 1, and it's key on this league.
I like how you're just going to keep touting that undefeated record so far for Secret. It's quite good. Well, let's see if he can add another win on that, or if he's going to have a 50-50 score line. Let's get onto the rip for game number 3. See who takes it, Kongdoo or ROX Tigers.
I'm still unsure if I want to tell you my Kongdoo Monster secret.
I'm still not sure if I want to hear it.
We got time.
It's a secret. Is it really something you want to share with the thousands of people watching this?
I trust them. The OG Legion definitely would not gossip. They'll keep it to themselves. They'll use it smartly. They're all road scholars, you know?
Be the best kept secret ever. 22,000 people being told about that.
Hey, if Kongdoo Monster go 2-0, the best kept secret will be Kongdoo Monster secret. You got anything over there, Achilles? Got anything to say?
Nope. I don't. Somehow, I doubt we're going to see a 2-0 from Kongdoo at any given point during this split.
But if they only use secret judiciously, he could have an undefeated record. Imagine if he retires after this game. 2-0. He did his job.
That would be a great way to end your career, I suppose. Just go ahead and retire.
Well, Sasson retired. I mean, to be fair, his career peaked when he
A
played
little bit different.
His career peaked when he played 8,000 champions in one split.
Yep. The Ari leash coming through. Start here from Mickey.
This might be the first time in history that Raptors start is a thing. You know, Raptors obviously previously Wraiths were never really a jungle camp people started on. You always take so much damage from them, but yeah, champions like Graves in the meta and the ability for mid lane to leash, it's led to different trading patterns in other lanes. If chat can think of a time when Wraiths or Raptors were commonly taken as the first camp by anyone, you know, any jungler if you think about it. It's just never been a thing. Sure, Nunu would maybe start the game by chomping on the big Wraith, but that's about the most I remember.
That's coming to my mind, and you typically have the better historical memory.
A lot of jungle paths that have opened up over time. That is not one I recall.
See how things get managed this time around. Soul and Cougar had a hell of a rough time in game number 2, but now Seeker coming in offers up a bit of peel as well as sustain with the ebb and flow, so it could be a lot better for them.
Watch the charm here.
Yeah, pushing forward. The charm does not connect, but here's Mighty Bear. Can get that end of the line. Doesn't throw it out in time to get it against the wall, though. So, really just the smallest amount of damage possible going forward on the edge.
Probably would have been a kill if Mickey hit the charm, because the only place Edge had to retreat to was next to a wall, which would have meant plenty of damage. If we saw Mighty Bear flash in, he had to kite topwards towards his jungler. Not to be, though. So the path just continues for Mighty Bear.
Yeah, doesn't lose too much time. Taking that little pit stop into mid.
In a lane matchup that Ezreal's done very, very well into. Bang gave a post-match interview a couple of matches ago, I believe against Samsung, when he and Wolf were the dual MVPs. And if you missed it, basically the gist of it was that because Ezreal has the advantage to push in the lane, because he can queue the first minion wave as it comes in, if Ezreal kills the first minion or two, he just has lane control for the majority, especially now that Jhin has a very low AD build with the boots into the 4 biscuit start. So it's a good matchup for Ezreal. Seeing more and more Ezreal, which is fun, because Ezreal does have that team fighting phase that's so explosive to watch, given his high mobility.
My ADC of choice, for sure, whenever I play.
What's my ADC choice? I like Twitch, actually. Twitch was always a fun one for me.
Never really got into Twitch. Back before, Jinx was a big one for me.
I mean, if we're talking about historically, like, if you... I mean, I'll ask you a question, I'll answer it myself first, but talking about, like, really favorite AD carry moments. So we've seen lots of very flashy AD carry moments in the history of Pro League of Legends. Pentakills, Uzi, for example, at Season 4 Worlds, running wild on the Tristana. And the reason why I like Twitch is probably watching Deft, for example, at Season 4 Worlds. The ability to open up from safety and do damage is the thing that I always really look at when you say ulting over a wall or Deft in his positioning on champions like Kog'Maw. So that's probably why I gravitate towards Twitch, because it's always that, how aggressively can I open up from stealth to not die?
Well, speaking of aggressively open, Cocoon not going to connect, so flash down for punch.
But like when you think of like famous AD carry outplays or Worlds moments, like what sort of like players are you thinking about? Because it feels like AD carry kind of had the highlight reels between kind of mid lane and AD carry for a lot of the big plays.
Yeah, I mean there was moments back in Season 3. Piglet, of course, had plenty of highlights there with his Vayne mechanics, dodging out on all sorts of skill shots. My favorite ADC moment, though.
The Uzi one is obviously very famous with Joe Miller's commentary, especially. Did a lot of surviving that fight.
It's not really a highlight moment, but one of my favorite memories of an ADC in recent times, at least, was actually when Sneaky pulled out Draven and utterly smashed TL. I was working for the team at the time, but I got to go to Worlds anyway, so I guess I don't really mind that happening in the long run.
Was that the one where he had just said on stream that Draven was bad and then locked it in the next day in LCS? It was like Season 4 or 5 now. I forget when that was. Sneaky and Draven always had a fickle.
No, this was just, this was Season 5.
I think that was the moment.
So, that might have been it.
Season 5 was 2 seasons ago, Kilios.
Yeah, I know.
You've been out here a while.
I have been.
Just signed your contract extension.
Just over a year.
The OGN Legion is happy that you'll be still around.
I hope so. Well, Soul is not happy that Mighty Bear's around in this bottom lane. Takes a big burst of damage. Stand United will come through right at the last second to keep
Could
alive.
Be a turnaround.
He gets hit by the bubble, and that's actually going to be first blood. Turned around indeed. As Soul picks up the kill. Nicely done. Stand United. Not a second too soon, not a second too late.
That was sick, actually, the turnaround. You don't often see with those Shen ults. So often just DPS through, especially at level 1 when it's the lower shield value. But a big turnaround. It looked like Soul will be giving up first blood, but keeps his flash and picks up first blood himself. All 4 summoners down, and both flashes up for Kongdoo Monster. Wraparound gank from Punch, and be even more purchase. A really big map play from Kongdoo.
Yeah, very huge for them, so that's really going to help out Soul quite a bit. Tier picked up with the Sheen, so he's got a lot of power in lane. Songyun is now running back in, has a serrated Dirk in a long sword, but looks like he's going to be opting into the Ninja Tabby, so it's going to delay him for quite a bit, so Soul can really take advantage of his items at the moment. Put down a lot of pain onto Ki and Songyun.
I'd see a replay of where Roach and Shy were on the map when that play happened, because obviously Not one of the easiest champions to interrupt. He was looking for a red buff steal, not to find it.
Optimistic.
Yeah, the smite comes in early. EQ, might be having enough. Didn't need to be in lane, so went on a bit of an adventure.
Edge, though, as expected, taking a bit of harass here in the mid lane.
I don't know if it's just me, but I find it very hard to calculate Ahri's all-in range when it comes to amount of damage he can do. Every skill shot hits maybe 55% of someone's health. So whenever I see a chunk out, I'm like, I don't know if you have it. With the exhaust up, it's obviously harder for the Ahri.
Do quite a bit. Needs a little bit more, or a couple more items coming through before that damage is really going to start to take off.
Build we've seen from Mickey pretty traditionally has been the Merlinomicon into the Luton's Echo for the big mid-game spike.
Could see something like the Seeker's Arm Guard come out early for him just because of the Jace. But we'll see just how aggressive he wants to play.
It's either this shop or never, it kind of feels like. You can understand it in this shop and then just finish Merlinomicon, get Zhonya's later. Mickey has been pretty safety first. We've seen the Zhonya's early from him.
There it is.
Good call. He will actually go the Seeker's Arm Guard. Yeah, he went Zhonya's Rush, I believe, in one of his 3 games recently against the Jace and was able to make some initiation plays. He is the secondary initiator, you would say, behind the Nautilus.
Well, good old trading of tanks. Sorry for that. Things slowing down a bit. So off the backside of that first blood, almost 1,000 gold on the charts for Kongdoo.
Mighty Bear, if he gets a control ward to stick onto the Mountain Drake, might be able to solo that down pretty soon. Only downside for him is that his bot lane hasn't had pressure. But with the recall, they do have priority around the Drake for now.
That can go both ways. Punch with the Spiderlings has a bit of sustain, so maybe able to solo that up himself, but gets his camp taken away now, so it's going to set him even further behind.
Mickey's not spotted.
Yeah.
They want this pretty badly.
See if he can find it. Dashes forward to the Spirit Rush. Repel comes through immediately. Charm does not connect on the edge, crucially. And that's just going to be it. So ultimate used for no gain.
Like the mind games there, though. Didn't shoot out the Charm first, shot out the Q, which prompted the at least Repel, but the Charm wasn't to register on either member. Pushing up to contest the blue this time.
The pinching in, punches here. As his Q, there's no smite for Mighty Bear, so might just have to concede this. Edge waiting in the wings. Gets a nice shock blast down onto Mickey. Curtain call now, opened up, tidal wave going through. Will knock up Songyun, only gets a couple shots off. Shy arriving with a TP, and Punch is going to be the first one that goes down. True Shot Barrage goes through, takes down multiple members of ROX and their HP bars. Roach is going to have to try to get out of here with his life. Doesn't even pop the flash. Surprisingly stays alive, but Shy can't say the same. Shock Blast from downtown takes him out. 1-for-1 exchange in the end.
I didn't see that coming, but with all the wards that were put down, so many camps warded up, they had pretty good vision lines for Edge, and Edge has had a really good series tonight, all 3 games. First 2 at least the only ones we can speak about fully, but even in the loss, had a really good game on the Cassiopeia. Was MVP in 13-kill fashion, maybe even 14-kill fashion in game 1.
It was 14-04 was the scoreline.
14-04. Sounds like a meme, but the one in front kills it, sadly.
Well, now Kongdoo, where do they go from here? We're lucky to sort of equalize that exchange there inside the jungle. If not for the snipe of Edge, would have just been a 1-for-0 in favor of ROX, plus the blue buff that they were still able to hand off.
It's worth noting that it is more of a siege comp than you'd expect with Ezreal. We've seen a lot of team fighting kite-back comps with Ezreal, as we see the replay first. Ultimate to cancel out the 4th shot, which doesn't come through. Punch was kind of caught in the front line, and you thought ROX would get away. You thought it was just a 1-for-1, especially after Shy Flash to stay alive. Let's wait for the snipe. A lot of damage, too. Shy has over 300 health. That's 350 damage that was put out to take him out.
Straight through everybody. Mickey and Mighty Bear parted. Well, Shy just not being fortunate enough. Does go down. I thought Roach was dead for sure, but still manages to make it out.
The fights are going to be, again, it's more of a siege comp because it's Shen, who isn't really the teleport frontliner, is very much a reactionary Stand United user than an initiator. It's More about setting up around an objective, poking and then taking objectives than, say, the Ezreal kite-back teamfight comps we saw with the likes of Cassiopeia and Ezreal. It's a different playstyle. We might see different value from the Ezreal than some of the Ezreals we've seen earlier who have popped off and then some. Remember, this series is 2-0 for Ezreal.
Oh, tidal wave coming out. Does cut off Songyun. They're going to flash forward for this. Repel coming down. Key now arriving. Pops the wild growth. Bubble comes through. Songyun down to about half HP. Still alive for now, but the W actually from Soul takes him out in the end. They invest quite a bit, but they come up with the kill.
Smart use of the ultimate there from Secret. He ulted in a way that stopped Songyun from having a safe passage towards his turret. And thus he had to flash defensively, and there was backup coming through from Punch, who's now onto the Mountain Drake, it looks like.
Yeah, should be taking that one out by himself. You can see Edge actually winning some of these exchanges on Mickey in the mid lane.
Given that we discussed this as a siege comp, Mountain Drake's certainly the sort of tool they're looking for. First brick would be nice also.
Yep, looks like they'll go ahead and pick this up. The Sheen doing some work here for Soul. Throws out that true shot barrage just to get rid of the rest of the minion wave.
What is it with siege comps getting multiple Mountain Drakes?
I don't know. There's one, and there's another one on the way now. 6 minutes out. We'll see that just before 20 minutes coming up.
KT had 3, at least 2.
Didn't work, though, for them.
But then we saw just the next day, there was 3 from, I believe it was MVP in their siege comp as well. So it's just been the way. BBQ got the low roll, and certainly the tides are smiling on siege comps. They're becoming more and more popular this week.
Sometimes lucky.
Sometimes lucky indeed. League of Legends RNG, not quite Hearthstone, but
far cry from it.
I mean, games like this, though, when you're built around Mountain Drake will be lovely, and Mountain Drakes are the first 2, you have to smile.
Sure. I don't think it's quite like top-decking something in Hearthstone, though. That's one of the most infuriating feelings. Kind of like walking into a brush with multiple people in it. Secret does get popped. Soul will get knocked up in the air by the depth charge. Exhaust coming through onto him, so he's not able to answer back too much damage. But now with the TP of Roach, could lock somebody down. They would certainly set up Kongdoo for maybe an answering kill. Be able to find it, though.
Mickey left lane looking for something in the back end. Won't find it, but seems like Jace just going to make the map plays to stop bottom turret from going down.
Didn't see it, but I think that Songyun might have interrupted Roach. He used both the Stand United and the TP. I think he came from the bottom lane.
Could have just burned through, but the interruption...
It might have been burned through.
Unclear. We'd have to get confirmation to know what happened there. It's only a single pick and no objective, which I feel like I've said a million times today, but has just been the reality of the games.
I need another energy drink. As we go late into the evening, 11:11, make a wish.
Okay, I wished for the series to be over.
Hey, that was my wish.
Look at us.
But all right. We're just going to keep trucking along here. Just over 1,000 gold.
Now you're reminding me of a different truck.
The truck? That song is long in the past now, Papa Smithy.
Sadly, we have rotated. I like Jeff Lewis, Breakthrough. That's our post-game song that will let us know that it's a job well done. Well, a job done, I guess. The well part is subjective.
The OGN Legion of members who have been around for a while will certainly remember Matruck.
They just want to say yeah.
That's true. They do want to say yeah. But they can't say yeah.
Nope.
They got to get their hands out of the air.
There's no truck.
There's no truck.
It's a depressing life, actually.
It is.
And we're still waiting for Mickey to pop off on the Zonia's rush, or at least could be Zonia's rush. Ari?
We might be waiting the rest of the game for this to happen. But so far, I can't even really recall that many charms that he's hit.
I don't know if he's hit any. At least visibly.
I feel like there has to have been like 1 or 2. Maybe.
Not on screen. Not on screen, I don't believe. And you get worried when Shen is hit level 11 before Mickey's got 1 true rotation onto an enemy. 550 shield incoming from the Shen. He's pretty tanky in himself.
Definitely looking pretty good. TP play coming through from Shy, though.
Charm.
Over the wall.
It hits.
Mickey dashing forward, Edge going low. Can they finish him off? Big shield coming through, keeping him alive for the moment. He's trying to run his way out, but Mickey is able to snipe him over the wall with the Orb of Deception. Meanwhile, Curtain Call comes through, takes out Secret. The Kongdoo, they're starting to turn this around. 2 kills picked up, a double coming through for Punch. Trying to find another one. Can they get it? Shy getting locked up. Will fall, triple kill going over to Punch. Nicely done by him. 4 picked up for 2 in the end, and Kongdoo just keep moving forward.
Yeah, even though Sungyun was so safe, leaves the fight full health, took no damage. He wasn't able to put out the same damage because only at 1 items, the nerf Ghost Blade on 7.4. Compared to that, Soul was able to put out damage. They fought in pretty narrow choke, which you'd imagine would be bad for Kongdoo, but there wasn't advanced vision there by ROX Tigers. In many cases, it's mid lane.
For Songyun, yeah, Deadly Flourish won't connect, gets that Mystic shot in. Shield comes through from Key to try to keep him alive. Won't be able to finish him off at the end there, but Soul still styling with this Ezreal.
Ezreal has certainly been the champion of this series. Now 2-0-5, big shot coming through. Ninja Tabby much earlier in the story. We see the replay, and now there's not really vision to go for this dive, but it's very early. Ultimate, just to allow Mickey to dive the backline and eventually takes down Edge, but you have to consider what else is happening. Soul, Punch, and Secret staying as a 3-man unit. Secret sniped out, but Roach is full health. Suddenly there's no damage to turn on to Soul because Sungyun has only been casting spells this fight, as a Jhin is wont to do. When the consistent damage is only the Ahri, and she falls pretty early into the piece, so do the hopes of the ROX Tigers.
Yeah, and having those kills come through here for Punch is going to be very nice. Secret, though, in the river, gets caught out, gets taken down. Mickey picks up that one. Just a bit too deep in the river. Pays for that one with his life. 7-5. Still just 2,000 gold in the lead is Kongdoo, so this is very realistic for ROX Tigers to work their way back into this game. They're going to start things off by picking up their first turret.
And you can have higher expectations for ROX in executing this comp. It is a comp they have shown a lot of success on. So even if things go a bit awry early, it doesn't have the same hard cap that the Ziggs comp in Game 1 did.
Oh, Roach maybe in a bad spot. Here comes the dive, depth charge out onto him. Goes in for the taunt onto Mickey.
Tanky.
Yeah, he's still pretty damn tanky. Turret's full HP. Dodge zone working quite well for him. But he's running out. Please tell me he doesn't stay alive. Okay, there we go. Collateral damage takes him out of the end. But that was the mid-tier 1 going down. And now
look at bot lane
really
as
nice
well.
push from Soul and Punch. Yeah, going for this tier 2. So this will still be trading up as far as Kongdoo is concerned.
They got some damage on the inner, takes an inner in the bot lane. ROX need to keep pushing, which may be impossible with how long they spent tanking up the top lane turret. Ganking the Shen sounds like a good strategy, but when your other minion waves are not in the right position, you get punished in multiple different ways. Look at how much they're losing for this over-aggressive play. Graves sucks at turret diving when it's someone as tanky as a Shen, because so much of his damage gets cancelled out by terrain. And in that time, they had a kill and a turret for 3 turrets, at least 2. Unclear if the bot lane turret was already down. 2 turrets, and also the Mountain Drake.
And there's going to be a third one on the way.
Yep, of course there is.
Hooray, all right.
Someone needs to investigate.
Who wrote this script?
Someone who wanted to see us here to midnight.
Yep, it's definitely looking that way. Oh boy, what was it? The ROX Jhin Air set that had us here, getting out at 11:30. This is gonna be even later than that one. And that one was during a snowstorm too. So that was extra bad.
There was the 2-hour search for a taxi afterwards.
Yep, we just had to get picked up by somebody riding one from 15 minutes away.
But hey, there's still some loyal fans here at Sangam.
We saved Gorilla's life that night.
We did. That's a story for another stream.
Oh boy, Soul getting Polymorph here in the river. Tidal Wave comes through. Mickey, he gets popped immediately. He makes it into the Zonias off the backside of the Wild Growth. Shock
Still alive!
A little bit too early. Punch goes up the repel, comes back down. Is able to take him out, but still the damage is done. Kongdoo loses their carries. It's just the Elise and Shen left up, only losing Mickey and ROX. They could turn right over onto this Baron. Looks like that's going to be the game plan here.
That looked like that was going to be the Mickey engage that cost them the game. We saw plenty of that on the Azir at IEM, but this one works. He got the Wild Growth at the right time, the Zonias at the right time. Now Punch is still alive, but now they don't actually have a control ward on top of the Baron. There is the potential for the steal, although Shy is not going to allow it to happen.
Mighty Bear going over the wall as
Meanwhile,
well. He's going to pop his way into the pit. Roach gets a kill on Key. That might just be the disengage. Roach trying to take out Songyun, forces to flash away from the Jhin. And miraculously, Kongdoo Monster, they end up stopping the Baron.
Really smart move from Punch to go back onto the Baron, because they almost got 2 kills as Key was tanking the Baron and then tanking Shen's, let's say, damage. It's kind of a strong word to what you call Shen at this point in the game, but Mickey got the engage, and the fact that he lived, it was on such a sliver, 100 health. As you can see, actually healing up off a potion while in the stasis. Comes out, okay, is going to be assassinated eventually by the Elise, but this time the tank line holds strong and consistent damage is coming out of the Graves, and by the end, Jin as well. It feels like we're no closer to knowing he'll take this series because...
Yeah, it's way too close.
Looking at the gold values, Mickey slightly ahead in the mid lane, predictably. Big lead for Ezreal in the bot lane, though.
I'm really surprised we haven't seen the Hex Drinker come out from Edge this whole time. Just really relying on that Edge of Night. Punch, though, going to get jumped on. Mickey's coming around from the sidelines. Nice bubble from Secret, predicting the dash. Let's lock him down, but the charm comes out. Punch gets drawn back in, and he goes down, and now ROX can continue toying around this Baron since the jungler's gone.
So I have Shy, who is present and has the ability to tank it for days. Roach didn't use Standing Knight in that fight. Unclear if it was up. Gonna assume no. Zoni is also just back up for Mickey. You see Mighty Bear on the bot side, so clearly the Baron dream is dead.
Yeah. Not going to go for that one. Mickey just going to try to hold on to this top tier 1 turret for a bit longer. 200 gold now separating these two teams.
ROX's comp is comfort and easier to execute than Kongdoo monsters, so they give them the edge in this particular game. But Kongdoo have that double mountain. If a third one comes down and they win a fight, you know, delete Mickey and win a fight, they can close the game very, very quickly. We'll see if Kongdoo can keep the Baron vision up, because for now it's been very solid. ROX turning on to Baron would be something that would thwart the comp that Kongdoo has put together, largely a siege comp. It's about minion wave control. Force is something they can't do. Cocoon, maybe. Tidal Wave, maybe, but those are such situational engage tools that will be largely on Ahri and Nautilus to force the fights in this game.
So far, so good in that regard. Mickey finally starting to land some of those charms, so it's been working out and it's helped drag the Tigers back into this game, eliminating that gold deficit that accrued for them. Still, though, Kongdoo with that double Mountain Drake are a pretty serious threat to that Baron. They get a couple picks and they can certainly take that away.
And they're calling Shy, so clearly they want to make a
forward.
play.
It's just going to take a little bit of damage. So maybe they'd follow that one up with a Cocoon, but they don't do so. Shot Barrage tossed out.
If you're going to call your top laner, you think you'd make a decisive, aggressive play, but they may have been stalled by Key taking a bit of damage.
Looks like they're trying to stop the backs for a little bit here as Roach will get some damage down onto this turret.
With Double Mountain, I feel like ROX should be respecting the outside chance that Kongdoo will rush down the Baron. Soon to be played, the Ruin King would mean that there'd be some decent Baron damage from the side of Kongdoo, with the Double Mountain especially.
Yeah.
Third Mountain will be spawning in 30 seconds. Be massive if Kongdoo could pick that up.
Wards over the backside of the pit are pinged out here by ROX, so they should know that they're placed. Looks like they might just lead to this tier 1 turret going down on top of Edge and clear out the way fast enough, get him shoved in there.
Ezreal spotted, so they know that his recall is a bit late if they're going to be trying to take the Drake. 5 seconds till that spawns.
And this would be really crucial for ROX to pick up, keep this out of the hands of Kongdoo.
Graves already on it. They know Ezreal's out of position, so this should actually just be a freebie over to the side of ROX Tigers.
Things are coming out over onto the Baron. Mickey is hovering nearby to spot this out, and Edge and Soul are so far away, so it looks like they won't even be able to try to trade this. So it will just be a Mountain Drake going over to the Tigers for free. They lost the tier 1 turret, but that was pretty inevitable given the HP.
The max range cocoons aren't going to count for much for Punch. Yeah, just the bad back timings really surrendering what could have been a match-winning third Drake. Next one will be Infernal.
Keeping things interesting.
Sometimes Asperies needs that injection of spice from the Drake spawns.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help out here. Mighty Bear getting jumped on a little bit, takes just a smattering of damage.
The excitement isn't really there for the turn. They don't have the lockdown CC, so the turns are really only going to be a chunk rather than necessarily a kill, unless Punch goes Rambo and then some. all this really does is to extend the game because Kongdoo don't have that turn possibility, and ROX aren't really in a position to start the Baron. As the Shen vs Nautilus forever split push war continues.
Yeah, Kongdoo right now just trying to poke where they can. The shock blast his drench line, lands on the soul. The charm comes through. Stand United used, but it does not matter. He gets popped in the end. Kill going over to Mickey. Now Curtain Call getting that slow in on the punch. Big knock up there with the bubble. But that is still just soul dead. The consistent damage from Kongdoo taken off the board. And now they're going to go ahead. ROX Tigers start up the Baron.
They have a mount on themselves. Remember, this is the team that can turn. They have Nautilus, they have Ahri. Baron down to 3,000.
4v5, can they stop this? Mighty Bear getting locked down. Spike comes through, stolen away by Punch, but can they get out with the buff? Looks like they might just leave Roach to die, so the rest can get out with their lives. That will be the game plan. Crucial seal coming through from him. Roach trying to get out of here, doing his damnedest, but won't be able to make it out. All the same, 2 members go down in the end. The Baron goes over to Kongdoo.
If Baron goes over to ROX Tigers, they should be able to close out the game. The wave clear won't be there from Kongdoo. They'll be able to, well, they push it down and even look for turret dives. But with the Baron going over to Kongdoo Monster, the game continues to extend. ROX had so many options to turn, but instead chose at 3,000 health to DPS it down. We'll see in the replay. So the pick here is sick. Look at this from Shy.
And straight into the charm as well.
So the flash and charm. Goodbye, Soul. Man United was never going to be enough. So we thought, okay, this is going to be the big play for the ROX Tigers. But it's about what they don't do. They clear out a control ward, they start the Baron, and when it hits around 3,000, you can see that everyone is walking up. Finishing the Baron is never the right call in this scenario. Even though they have a 2-level advantage on their jungler, it's not enough. At the end of the day, Kongdoo Monster steal it away. Call it goalkeeping, call it turning. Nothing happened as it should have for the ROX Tigers, who had that turn CC. If the opposite happens for Kongdoo Monster, and like, okay, the only way we can win this game is burning the Baron. We can't turn because we don't have the tools. Burn it down. Okay, I understand it. But when it happens for the ROX Tigers, it's a mismanagement of resources, which they'll definitely have to look over after the match.
I'm sure there's a lot for them to look over here.
This is a lot to look over. It's been a long series.
Yep. It's going to be a very long VOD review for sure, for either side, regardless of the win or loss. Plenty of mistakes made by both teams. So, all guilty in this set.
All shall be judged.
None shall be spared.
At least finds it funny, at least.
She's got the most annoying laugh.
Well, at least we don't have Lissandra in the meta.
At least I don't have River Spirit Nami yet.
I like to tell her to shut up. Well, Mickey has already used one charge.
Oh, Shies came in with a TP to grab in onto Edge. Stand United coming through. Soul still untargeted for the moment. Secret will go down as Mickey claims the kill. Big pop-up coming through at the curtain call. Firing off that last shot. Almost takes down the Jace. Mighty Bear burning out. True Shot Barrage will not connect. He makes it out with his life, but barely so. But now Kongdoo can they try to turn this one around. Roach dashes forward, locks down Shot.
Hitting.
They will find the kill. Soul still relatively healthy, but low on mana. How much can they push this to have a little bit left on that Baron buff? Is it enough to take down this turret? We're going to find out. Roach going in, taking it up to start things off. The turret absolutely just gets melted. Kongdoo will be able to peel back.
They need Graves to be doing the consistent damage, because the only people doing consistent damage are Ahri and Graves. Ahri will get turned on every time. So you kind of need Graves to actually be the frontline damage dealer, and it's just not happening at the end of the day. Sang-Yoon can only do what he can do from range. And after that initial burst, the consistent damage has to come from somewhere, and Mighty Bear at 20% HP wasn't going to be that person.
Yeah. Well, now lead is starting to grow yet again for Kongdoo. 45 seconds until that Infernal Drake comes through. And it might just be the breaking point for either of these teams, having that added 8% stats coming through. Would certainly do wonders for Soul's consistent DPS. It's already doing quite a bit of work throughout these team fights.
So the items are very well set for ROX Tigers as well. They are behind in gold, but some big purchases were coming through. Infinity Edge just completed for Sang-Yoon. He starts to close that gold gap. A couple of turrets or a couple of kills, and we're going to be back all square at 32 minutes into Game 3. Two teams that went over from Korea to Poland. Certainly haven't had a lot of success on the Rift in Korea. But looking to, in many ways, cement their positions. Kongdoo desperate to get off the one-match win and move up. Infernal Drake started.
Yeah, ROX on top of this one. The True Shot Barrage comes through.
Kongdoo's not interested in it. They're trying to push up. But to what end? Right now, they're trying to walk in with the Shen.
I mean, they'll get the tier 2 tower, but that's about it. They won't be able to collapse in for that inhibitor turret at all.
So they're just kind of camping the jungle. I don't know why ROX Tigers would enter the jungle there, so I don't really know about this as a counter rotation to what was always going to be an Infernal Drake rush. But again, when you're the 9th place team, sometimes you see things that just aren't there on the Rift.
We'll have to see what the next move is going to be. Baron again coming up in just a minute and 45. So could just see things stall out until that comes back up. Elder Dragon going to be even further away, but now ROX have that extra tool in the Infernal Drake up for them. If they can utilize that, they should be able to get back into an advantageous position, maybe just close out the game.
And Kongdoo may have the gold lead, but I've gone over it multiple times. Forcing things is so hard for them. We're talking about frontline Ezreal without really anybody else to help him. Maybe a Cocoon here and there or a Taunt.
The Muramon is finally done for Edge.
It's one of the reasons why Edge and specifically Soul is going out of mana is that, remember, you don't have control over toggling it on and off anymore. So until you're down to, I think it's 20% mana, you will still be putting out good damage, but after the initial fight is over, always going to be pretty damn low in mana.
Yep.
ROX should hold all the aces around this Baron. They have the ability to turn. They have the ability to burn it down. That didn't count for much in the previous Baron exchange, so going to need to be tightened play from them, specifically to stop Punch from coming in for the steal.
You might be asking for too much.
An important thing to have is high expectations, Achilles. We are blessed to be in a league where those high expectations are often met, but there certainly are games that go against type.
Definitely agree with that.
That's why I'm always so harsh on KT and SKT, because clearly winning against Kongdoo Monster is not their goal. They want to go forward and do well in international tournaments. The goals here for ROX and Kongdoo are lower, but they still need to play League of Legends the right way. A lot of teams do. These teams do from time to time, but it's the consistency that really hurts some of the teams at the bottom. Freak of Freaks, of course, one of the best examples of that. We've seen some great methodical closeouts from both these teams, but too often we see games like this where there are very clear mistakes.
Connects onto Mickey, takes a lot of damage, Soul pushing forward. Just want an arcane shift in. The charm landing would almost certainly lead to his death, though he does have that QSS.
Probably back in vision. See if Ezreal shoots out the ultimate.
Shark Blast just landing on the Mighty Bear. Pings are coming out onto the Baron, and Roach is pressuring down in the bottom lane. Shy comes in. They're going to start this up. See who pulls the trigger. See who pulls the trigger first in that bottom lane. Right now, Mickey's just clearing out the minions in the mid lane. Can't contribute at all to this. Repel up from Punch will keep him safe, and the double Mountain Drake does quite a bit of work for Kongdoo. They burn through that Baron with relative ease.
Really good setup from Kongdoo. They had the Shen split pushing, they rushed down the Baron with double Mountain Drake, and ROX seemed slow. Sure, Jhin opened up, and Mighty Bear got into the pit, but was very unlikely to get the steal away because there was a control ward. About as ordered as you could hope for from Kongdoo Monster, and their comp finally hits high gear when they pick up the Baron, and the sieges become even more oppressive. Can still be caught out with a pick. Ari can still be the hero in this game, but it's that much harder when Baron buff is being worn by Kongdoo Monster.
See how their sieges go. They start readying the waves, Punch up in the top lane, getting that moving up towards the inhib turret there. The rest of them in mid, and then Roach down bottom. Pushing forward for some vision, making sure they don't get flanked. Kongdoo definitely taking every precaution possible, which is good to see.
Short on control wards, none left in the inventory of Nami. No item slots for a lot of these members makes the clean rotations between mid and top that they need to pull off that much more difficult. They have the Shen to bail them out, but they want to use Shen in an aggressive play, if at all possible.
In all likelihood, just keep him down bottom. Let him split onto that inhib turret for now. We can see Shy going down there to try to match him.
We'll lose turret damage every time, though.
Yep. Keep chunking away at it. As long as he's got waves, that is.
There's not much coverage on this, the blue side jungle of ROX Tigers, so that's why Mickey is looking for an opportunistic charm. Kill onto Jace or Ezreal would end the siege for the foreseeable future and probably waste out the remainder of this Baron.
He's gonna go forward, find Secret. That'll be the pop. He may get out of here though. Stand United coming through. True Shot Barrage connects. Mickey able to dash out. Dredgeline won't connect here from Shy. El Sol has to kite back. It's gonna be a big pop coming through. His punch goes down. Jumping forward is Shy, locking down Edge, who has to flash out, but the Dredgeline comes back through. Roach on the backside of the fight will eventually get his Guardian Angel popped, and he will go down. That's just going to be a 3-for-0 pickup for ROX Tigers, and they swing right back into this. Perfect timing, too, because the Elder Dragon spawning in 10 seconds.
And ROX proves that any pick is golden. Feels like Season 3 when we see Ahri eliminating a Nami instantly, but Nami walked up, was taken out, wasn't able to use Flash, exhaust any of her disengage, and the cost is immense because they lose out on a third of Baron, they lose out on the Elder Dragon, which will now buff up the Infernal Drake in particular. The ROX Tigers already had. And this is what ROX have. When they have Ahri, when they have Norse, they have force options. And Mickey took it on themselves, pulled it off, didn't die after the Zonias. Credit to Mickey, even has his flash for a flash charm in the future. So Secret's actually on a ward in lane. Doesn't respect that, so dies to one rotation of spells. Unnecessary in the end was Mighty Bear's ultimate. The turn wasn't fast enough, and Mickey was able to skip out, didn't even need to flash. And this siege comp isn't in any way able to deal with a Nautilus, walking in with target engage. Wild growth on that Nautilus, now a massive, massive Big Daddy, I guess you would call him, for a Bioshock reference. And yeah, 3 fall down, everything resets. The siege that Kongdoo were trying to pull off is thwarted by the ROX Tigers, and now advantage over the ROX Tigers.
Yeah. Really nice swing around for these guys. Elder Dragon now in their possession, buffing up that Mountain and Infernal.
Mickey's sitting at a lot of ability power, didn't catch up. It was 725, but can't be 100% certain.
Pretty high number for sure.
Death cap and 12% more is always good.
Yep, and now
Wave play's not great.
coming down, coming down and trying to defend these turrets is just really nothing that Kongdoo can do. That one will go ahead and get burned out very quickly. Dredgeline coming through on the Soul. Stand United coming down, but is it enough? He will arrive in time. Soul flashing out, still alive, barely in the backside of the fight, but the flash forward from Shy takes out the Ezreal. Now Mickey going into the back, just picking off Kongdoo one by one. Finds Punch, should be able to help find Roach, and he does. Double kill for Song Yun on the back end, and that should be game going over to the...
They needed to exhaust all their options in order to pick up the win. You know, in a month's time, you just remember that you picked up the match win. It was 2-1. Kongdoo showed good things at times. But these honorable losses really don't help too much, apart from just the -1 instead of -2 game score. And, you know, the difference between 9th and 10th, it's not much. You're still both going into that relegation tournament. And the separation between Kongdoo, Jin Air, and BBQ, who are currently in 8th, is starting to get massive because it's 3 match wins. Both these teams only have 7 matches remaining after this one, and 3 out of 7 is very close to a 50% match win that none of these teams are close to finding.
I mean, 7 matches, even if you won them all at a 2-0, you'd still be in the negative if you're Kongdoo Monster. Now at a -15 scoreline, will repossess 10th place underneath of Jin Air. Fairly so. Either way, rough times for these guys. They also have some very difficult matches coming up. Their next is versus SK Telecom on Saturday.
Congratulations to Mighty Bear for picking up a series win in his debut in Korea.
Yeah, Shy as well coming in. It was good stuff by them, but now a 50% win rate for Secret.
Sad days. The Kongdoo Monster secret that I didn't share with you, and Kongdoo Monster's player secret. Both aren't going to come up trumps. I guess the one thing you can say for the Tigers, though, in that matchup against SKT is that working out their starting lineup is going to be a bit of a pickle. They didn't win a match with Mighty Bear. and also Shy. Shy has traditionally had the higher win rate. As we look over to the post-game statistics, damage numbers, number 1 is Mickey, who picked up a lot of the kills as well. Moves to 4-0 on the Ahri this season. That's been his good luck charm, and ROX Tigers.
Kind of intrigued as to how Graves managed in the top lane, and Nautilus went to the jungle, but still good damage coming through overall here from the ROX Tigers. And Mickey, you know, we wanted to see that Ahri from him the whole time. Didn't see it until game 3. There's some bumps in the road, but he still is able to pick up the MVP. And that is going to send him into a tie for 2nd place. A very massive tie. Actually, at this point, it's like 7th place, I think. Or no, it is 2nd. Okay, never mind.
Yep,
There's a lot of people at 600 points.
A lot of people at 600. Hasn't necessarily been an outstanding season for Mickey, but he's got 3 MVPs now since he got back from IEM, and the Ahri seems to really be the one he consistently wins on. Gives them a lot of options, a pseudo-assassin, good wave pushing, good laning, everything that the ROX Tigers seem to need to win.
Yeah, 90% kill contribution. It's just an absurd number here for the Ahri.
And he made the things happen. The pick onto Secret, onto that Nami, was what really slowed the game down when Kongdoo Monster looked to be sieging for the win. And then cleaned up some fights very, very well as well.
Yep, that's my analysis at the end of this long series. He made the things happen.
It's 11:42 p.m. We've been casting for 6 hours and 42 minutes of, we'll call it League of Legends.
It's been a long day, for sure.
But a fun one, you know, at the end of the day, like...
Game 1 was quite fun.
Game 1 was fun. Some people didn't enjoy it, but we did. This pick onto Secret was probably what allowed ROX Tigers to win the game, because being pushed by the siege comp in multiple lanes wasn't working out.
Also that, the Dredge Lines, I mean, Shy actually did a pretty good job of locking people down throughout this game as the Nautilus.
I like the flash auto attack. Wait for it. Die.
Ugh.
I mean, that hook looked like it hurts a lot when it's that large.
Probably does.
I don't know if you've ever had a hook dropped on you. It hurts.
I've never been hit by an anchor of any size, so one like that would probably kill me.
Yep, probably. Lots of death inflicted by Mickey on the Ahri. Might have to be a ban in future games, but finally done with the League of Legends action for the night.
Yep. For now, we just have an interview with our MVP, so Joel, go ahead, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your interview translation. We are here with ROX Tigers picking up a 2-1 victory against Kongdoo Monster, and we are here with today's MVPs, Mickey and Shy, for the interview. Shy, Mickey, congratulations on the win. Shy, would you like to comment something on the win? Getting a win always feels good. But you know, to be honest, I have no idea why I'm doing this interview right now. I don't know why I got the MVP. You know, I think this is my first MVP ever since leaving Yongsan Stadium, so it's pretty significant. Mickey, another spectacular performance for you today. Is there something special about that Ahri pick? Thank you for commenting on it like that. Yeah, but Ahri was always a pick that I always went with, but I just never really got any opportunities to play it, but I'm getting more opportunities now. Which do you prefer more, Zed or Ahri? I can't really exclude any one of them out, but I think it's very situational for both champions. Shy, one thing I wanted to ask you was, why was the choice for Mighty Bear today? There wasn't a big reason, but I think we just really want to provide him an opportunity for him to shine on his debut. And you know, receiving a lot of jungle bans must have been tough for him, but you know, but he still pulled through, and you know, actually attracting those kind of things was our plan for sending Mighty Bear in. It seems like, you know, you were really out of the conventional picks today. You know, we usually see you with the tank picks, but you kind of went aggressive today with your picks. Rumble is a very popular champion nowadays. But you know, with if you try to rush into your game early, you kind of regret it in the end. But you were supposed to wait it out, but Kongdoo Monster really never gave us a chance to do that.
준비되어 있거든요. 같이 보면서 얘기를 나눠보죠.
So we have a video clip highlight prepared.
착하게 했어요. 샤이의 명확한 그대로 플레이를 했습니다.
이게 스크림이었으면 제가 죽이려고 했을 것 같은데
I think if that was scrimmage, I think I would have tried to go in and kill him, tower dove him.
이미 볼 만큼 다 봐서
네.
굉장히 좋은 흐름을 만드셨다는 생각이 드는데
네.
본인의 플레이에 만족하시나요?
Are you satisfied with your plays today?
그렇게 만족하진 않아요. 오늘
I'm not fully satisfied. I think I should have done a lot of the things that I did much better. But you know, I'm glad we got the win. That's all that matters.
겸손하신 것 같습니다. 그리고 미키 선수 패배한 경기 뱀픽코드에 대해서 또
Mickey, we want to talk about the game that you actually guys lost.
오만한 뱀픽
And we felt like that ban pick phase from you guys was really complacent in some ways. You know, we just thought that, you know, leaving LeBlanc was fine as long as we countered it with the Rise, but I don't know where it went wrong really. But in the end, we saw that LeBlanc had 14 kills and didn't die at once, so something must have went wrong. You know, you get that feel when something goes wrong, and I just kind of felt it a bit late. And even in Game 3, you guys had a lot of places in that game where you guys would have lost instantly. And Mighty Bear, you know, trying to go for that Baron play, got stolen of that Baron a couple of times. Yeah, it was a pretty depressing moment for us, and you know, there were so many chances for Kongdoo Monster to take that win. Did you ever guys think that you guys would win the game? And I think this is similar with game 3 we had against the Freak of Freaks, where you know our team composition gave us a lot of confidence that we were going to win in late game. Mickey, it seems like, you know, every time you go in like that, you always go in by yourself like that with so much confidence. Do you just receive permission from your teammates to do that? You know, I always tell my teammates in advance that, you know, when I see an opportunity, I'll just go in without notice. So I think my teammates are always aware that I'm always able to do that. And they're always ready to back me up. So I'm very fortunate for that. Lastly, Shai, would you like to say something to your fans here who are staying out till very late to cheer you guys on?
일단은 저희가 지금까지 잘 이끌어온 것 같고
I think we're pulling it through as best as we can until now. And you know, we want just try our best for the rest of the season. And that's the end of the interview. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. So yeah, long day indeed, you have to say. But the fans, they did stick around to see their favorite team win.
You know who else stuck around to kill us? Not just us, but the OGN Legion stuck around for 7 hours of League of Legends. We saw some great stuff, we saw some not so great stuff. We damn sure saw some silly stuff. But in this second series, we saw the ROX Tigers take down Kongdoo Monster, the manner of which perhaps doesn't bode so well for their future, where we mentioned the fixture ramp up will certainly get more and more difficult. That puts Kongdoo in dead last, 1 game score behind Jin-Air, but that's a story that seems to be settled by the Jin-Air vs Kongdoo Monster matchup that will come up later in the round robin. ROX Tigers move up to 7th. They don't have any change in that regard. But
no one's changed today. Samsung's still in 3rd despite the loss. Afrika's still in 6th. Just adjusting some of those score lines. Again, MVP winning or staying below them because of the head-to-head. Tomorrow, though, we will be bringing you KT Rolster versus BBQ Olivers. And I mentioned it earlier that it's no snowstorm scheduled for tomorrow, but Jin-Air versus Longzhu will return yet again. So we might just have another long night for twice in a row here, Papa Smith.
I mean, KT have kind of been in a free fall of their love. Of course, losing to SKT twice, hardly a free fall, but BBQ have certainly been struggling. Could be a long matchup, like you say. And then moving on to Saturday, our last day, Afrika versus MVP. This is a real statement match. It's actually an important match, given those guys are very much both in playoff contention. And then we have SK Telecom T1 versus Kongdoo Monster. So I feel like the Saturday 10:30 p.m. dinner is looking just fine.
Yeah, we might have an early night on Saturday. Who knows? But closing things out on Sunday over at the Gangnam studio, it's going to be KT Rolster versus the ROX Tigers.
That's another summer final rematch, Achilles.
Hot damn! I'm ready for that one. And and then Samsung versus Longzhu Gaming. And that's an important one for both of those teams as well, because Longzhu want to make their way and solidify their spot in the top 5 for playoffs. Samsung as well, after the loss today, need to come up with that win. So that's going to be a very important one to close out the end of the week here for LCK. But for now, that's about doing it for us here on the desk. We'll be back tomorrow for the rest of those games. We'll see how long Jin-Air and Longzhu can take it this time around. Hopefully not as late as tonight. So I'll definitely
Start
be
the prayers early, Achilles.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll be doing that tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.